Good afternoon. My name is Skylar Marston Beal. I use she and they pronouns, and I am the Director of Orientation and Leadership here at the University of Puget Sound. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this first of our summer welcome panels for incoming students, and I thank you also for bearing with us with our moment of technical difficulties. We are excited to have you joining us here today as well as in August, and I'm going to talk briefly through how the panel will run today, and then we will launch into introductions and just jump right into it. So in your Q&A on your screen, you can submit questions that you hope the panelists will respond to. We will do our best to get to as many of those as possible. I also have an incredible team working behind the scenes that will try to respond to some of those questions in the chat. So you will want to be monitoring both the Q&A to submit your questions and the chat to receive answers if they are coming through the screen that way. Otherwise, if many people are asking similar questions, those will get texted to me, so I do apologize. I will be referencing my phone a little bit so that I get your questions, and then those will be pitched to the panel so that they can respond directly to your questions. With no further ado, we will have our panelists introduce themselves. We'll start off with, if you could please share your name, your pronouns if you choose, your job title, as well as your favorite drink that you order at Diversions Cafe. And then finally, so far in your time at Puget Sound, what in your assessment is a not to be missed event or program? So we want to prime the pump a little bit so you all start getting excited about some of the things you get to participate in starting in August, but what would you recommend that a first-year student or a transfer student should not miss in their first year here? Go ahead.
All right, well, I'll start it off. Hi, my name is George. I use he, him pronouns. I'm one of the passages coordinators here for this summer, and I'm super excited to meet you guys in August. And my favorite drink at Divs, I'd say, is an iced chai. I get one almost every morning. And then the event a must-see event, I should say, is Log Jam. It's a big event on campus where all the clubs set up tables around Jones Circle, and it's a great time to meet new people and engage in the community and engage in different parts of the campus life. So yeah.
Hi, my name's Esty. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also a passages coordinator. My favorite drink at Divs, I would say, is some type of sparkling lemonade. And one of my favorite events is the RDG performance, which is the repertory dance group. It's the biggest club on campus, and everyone just goes, and it's so much fun.
Hello, my name is Landon Wade. I'm the Director of Advising and Fellowships, he, him pronouns. I drink a lot of Coke, actually Dr. Pepper, which they don't serve at Diversions. So I get my drinks at the sub. And Pops on the Lawn is my favorite thing. It's the last day of classes in the spring semester. Students in the School of Music lead the orchestra or the pop group to do different pieces of music. And the community comes out, dogs, babies, students. It's a pretty amazing event.
Hi everyone, my name is Lexi Pickett. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a student success coach here on campus. My favorite drink from Divs is a hot Americano. And a thing that I really enjoyed this last year was Haunted Wheel Lock, where our student center turns into basically a big haunted house, and all of the different offices have different haunted experiences. And I think it's just really fun and a super unique thing that happens in the fall.
Hi everybody, my name is Tori Henson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an Associate Director of Admission. Let's see, favorite drink is not terribly exciting. It's a non-fat vanilla latte iced. And in terms of great traditions, I will say I'm actually also an alumna from a million years ago and a blogger parent too. I've got the trifecta. But I would say orientation, really kind of putting in an early plug for that, is really, I mean, I was in the first group that did Passages, the official Passages program a million years ago, and it was an awesome introduction to campus. So you're gonna love it.
And hi, everybody. I'm Don Scott. I am the Director of Alumni and Parent Relations here at the university. I, too, am an alum. I'm class of 1991, and I think I was the third class to go through Passages. So it's exciting to be able to share that. My favorite drink at Divs is probably as boring as yours, just a hot cocoa, because I drink coffee at home in the morning. And then a not to miss event, I would say, is whenever you have the opportunity to take advantage of any of the theater productions that happen on campus. They are phenomenal student productions, and it will really showcase the friends that you will make on campus, or if you happen to be in the production, it's a great platform for what happens on campus. So take advantage of it.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to start plugging again that Q&A. If you have any questions now that you've heard who all is on our panel, feel free to start putting questions in the Q&A so that you can get those answered during our time here this evening. I'm going to start with Landon. If you could, what is the academic placement questionnaire, and what is the importance of the rankings that I'm going to do on that questionnaire?
Sure. So the great majority of you, by now, 85%, have completed the advising placement questionnaire, and we use that to create your fall schedule. So we ask a lot of questions. You will discover in the world of advising that's what we do, and you all get to provide the answers. So we are asking about an advising class and a Connections 100 level course that we have you rank. I then look through all of those and place you. About 80% of students get their first or second choice there. I do act as a human most of the time, so sometimes the things you put may not make sense. If you're getting AP, IB transfer credit, you may have ranked chemistry first, and then if you score a 4 or 5 on that AP exam, you'll get chemistry credit. So we're not going to put you in a class that's going to repeat content you already know. So then we use those answers to put you in a fall schedule. It makes sense on paper, but we know that things change between October, November when you applied and what you said on your Common App to April, May, June when you do your advising questionnaire. So even though that schedule is good to go, you need to make no changes. You're going to meet with your faculty advisor at Passages and your peer advisor, and then in those conversations, if you say, you know, I really wanted to do law in May, and I worked at a law firm this summer, and I no longer want to do law, great. You can adjust your schedule to make changes that make sense based on your most recent experiences.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to pitch the next question to Tori. How do I stay on top of all of my checklist items in my Puget Sound? There's so much going on. How do I manage that?
Yeah, there is a lot, not just that advising placement questionnaire, but you have housing forms, and you've got health forms, and you need to submit pictures for your ID and all sorts of things. So if you log into your Puget Sound portal, the My Puget Sound portal, you're going to see a whole checklist of things for you to do as a new student. If you have questions about those things, let us know. If you think you've done a thing and it's still showing up on your checklist, let us know. And we can help you, make sure that everything is as it should be. But keeping a close eye on that checklist and keeping a close eye on your email as well, I'll throw that in, is a way to kind of make sure that you are doing everything that you should be.
Great, thank you. Dawn, what should parents and families know about move-in weekend in August?
It's a very busy time, but it's a very exciting time on campus. There will be a lot of nerves, obviously, but hopefully we can replace those nerves with the excitement that you should have when you actually get to campus. One of the things that you'll probably, if you haven't heard about them already, I'm sure they'll be coming soon, the details for students about how to go through the Passages program that a number of us have named. So pay close attention to those details because that's targeted for you. For parents who are listening in today, or for students who want to share this with their parents, we actually do host on the Saturday of move-in day, move-in weekend, which is the 23rd of August this year. We host a separate presentation, a set of events events for the parents and families to take advantage of. And it's really an opportunity for those folks, while their students are participating in passages, to also have their own introduction and orientation to the university, because parents and families are almost as important to us as students at Puget Sound, and we really do consider you a part of our family as you join us in August. So we'll be sending information to all of you about parent and family orientation to give you the details about the opportunities that you'll have to hear from really important campus partners. Landon's going to be participating as part of that event. So it's an opportunity for you to be able to hear from some of the key offices that students will be taking advantage of while they're going to student here, or going to school here, not students, going to school here. But we really encourage you to take advantage of it. It's a great day, and again, it will sort of help put everybody in the right frame of mind as far as the information that they need to know as you get underway.
Great, thank you. So we've heard already a little bit about passages being referenced as orientation, but when will I find out what immersive experience I get to participate in?
Such a great question. You'll find out July 17th. You will go into your My Puget Sound, and there's an orientation tile, and that will open up, and that will show you what your immersive experience is.
Great, thank you. So Lexi, what is a student success coach?
Yeah, so a student success coach is a staff member on campus here to help you, especially over the summer and then throughout your whole first year with that transition to college. We are here to help you navigate campus, understand who to talk to about certain things, what different offices are, and to be someone to listen to you. We're happy to chat about whatever you want, especially academic things or things that are happening on campus, good or bad. We're here to be someone in your corner and help you through that first year of school.
Awesome, thank you. So we are already getting some questions in about parent and family orientation. So Dawn, when and how can we register to participate in that as parents?
Thanks for the question. So you will be getting some information about the registration process here probably within about the next couple of weeks. We've got plenty of time. There's no worry that you would not have space available to participate in the event. So just keep an eye on your email. It'll likely be sent to whatever email we have on file for you that came through the admissions process. And if at any point, if you have any questions about or you're not getting the information about orientation, you're certainly welcome to call my office. Again, that's the Alumni and Parent Relations office at the university. There will also be, you'll register via the website, and that's where we will point you when we start sending the information out about it. So the event it begins at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and we conclude right around 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's a full day of events, so look for it in the information that will come your way.
Awesome, great, thank you. All right, George, what other fun things happen during passages other than my immersive experience?
So many other fun things. On campus, we're going to have a hypnotist. For the first years, we have something called Playfair, which is kind of like organized chaos in a way that sounds really fun. It's really kind of a vague activity. It's really hard to explain, but it's so much fun. It's just a blast. There's a lot of running around, a lot of hooting and hollering where you're running on Todd Field. There's also campus-wide Capture the Flag. And also some more relaxed and chill activities where we have like a tie-dye and Mario Kart tournament that we're going to be running and a movie night. So not just immersive experiences are something to be excited for, but all of these other things happening during Passages Week that are super exciting and fun.
Great, thank you. Landon, you mentioned that during passages I'll get to meet with my faculty advisor and my peer advisor, and maybe I can make changes to my schedule if I need to. What's the likelihood that I will get into my top advising class choice?
So again, you rank those. About 80% of our students get in their top 1 or 2 choices. The good thing on my side of the camera here is that there is almost 0 chance of being in the wrong course. The curriculum is set up so much that regardless of what you intend to major in right now, if you change your mind, that course sort of migrates from your major checklist to a minor or an elective or a core requirement. We do want to make sure that you are in an advising class, and so that's sort of any course, any introductory level course on campus, but it's going to be taught by your advisor. So the way that we do advising here is your faculty member who serves as your advisor is going to be the instructor of one of your fall courses. And so that way you get to develop a relationship in the classroom, and then as the student, you are sort of in charge of what you share, when you share it, how you share it. We encourage you to share a lot, but it's your information. You can do with that what you want. So a good chance you're going to get your top 2 choices, but again, sometimes students get really concerned that I have to make the singular correct choice, and that almost never exists this early in your academic career.
Great, thank you. So I shouldn't be too stressed out about it.
No, I do the stressing. You all calm down.
Great, awesome. Speaking of maybe feeling stressed out as I'm starting, Lexi, you mentioned that the success coaches are here to support me, be resources for me. How do I know which success coach is mine?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is already determined, and it is chosen by your last name. So if your last name starts with A through L, you are with Will, our other coach. And if your last name starts with M through Z, then I am your assigned coach. You should have already gotten a text from us, but if you didn't, now you know which coach is yours, and you can reach out to us too. We would be happy to hear from you.
Awesome, thank you. SD, you've told me that I will find out my immersive experience on July 17th. When will I find out who's in my group?
That's such a good question, once again. So move-in day, which is August 22nd, when you move in, you will go to Wheelock Plaza, which is where the big Sequoia is, and you will check in, and you will get a folder with all the information with your immersive experience leaders, your immersive experience itself, and also the people in your group.
Great, thank you. Quick follow-up to that, is Passages required?
So Passages is the more you put into it, the more you get out of it kind of vibe. While we do have the required like lectures of like, oh, what does it mean to be a student here, code of conduct, student integrity code kind of conversations, there are abundance of fun things that happen during Passages, like those immersive experiences and those other events that I already mentioned. And a number of them are optional as well, and that's clearly mentioned. So it's the balance of both, for sure.
I also want to add that Passages can also be really overwhelming and sometimes overstimulating, and we completely understand that. But we also need help from you to have clear communication with either your Passages leaders, the Passages coordinators like George and I, or your RA, so then we can make the experience accommodating to you if needed.
Great, yeah. Okay, Lexi. You've told me who or how I'm going to know who my success coach is. When should I reach out to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, we are doing summer meetings. So if you have a lot of questions and you haven't gotten a text from us yet about summer meetings, you are welcome to reach out to that. We will reach out to you about a summer meeting over the summer. So don't worry that you have to initiate that. But if you wanted to get your questions answered next week as soon as possible and you haven't had a summer meeting already, that would be a great time to reach out. But other than that, if you ever have a question about anything on campus and you aren't sure who to ask, we can always be your first stop. So you can send us a text or an email. And the other reason you might reach out is if you want to set up a meeting and you know exactly what you want to talk about, or if you just want to talk about something and you're not quite sure yet. There's always students who come in and they're like, I'm not really sure why I'm here. And then we start talking, and then it turns out they do actually need help with something. So we're always happy to chat. But yeah, reach out anytime that you have a question or you want someone to talk to on campus.
Great, thank you. So I have a double question. The first part will be for Dawn, and the second part will be for either SD or George. When can we recommend parents to leave during orientation week and fly home?
Yeah, that's a great question that comes up every year. One of the things that I think you'll want to really pay attention to is what the student schedule calls for. If it's still going to run the same way, and I imagine that it probably will, is that the halls will have meetings on Saturday night, probably sometime shortly after dinner time, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that this Parents and Families Orientation Program will conclude right around probably 2:30 or 3 o'clock. That will give you some time, an hour or two to reconnect with your student depending on what they're involved with passages. Might give you the opportunity to share dinner with them that evening. And then I would suggest that at that point you plan to go ahead and make the split from your student and go and do whatever you're going to do that evening, because the student will be very busy that evening, and it's the intent to try and keep students really involved. And while we certainly don't want to exclude parents and families, and we want you to enjoy the experience as much as them, I think that we all realize that this is the moment for the student to really sort of take hold of their experience at the university. So I would plan late afternoon, early evening would be the best time to think about starting to bid your farewell to your student and connect with them via text as soon as you can. So, yeah.
Yeah, great. I will echo, there is a dinner option time frame if you want to eat dinner before heading out, but you don't have to stay for that as well. Okay, Essie and George, when do the events for students actually start?
It depends on what you're talking about. Usually, the Playfair is going to be like 8 to 9 p.m., running till 10 p.m. So those evening events are usually like 7 to 8 starting, and then 9 to 10 ending. So you have that time to go back to your dorm and reset for the next day of passages. But it is kind of a last hurrah of the day to have a really fun closing event. So you feel connected with your community before you go and do it all over again the next day. So typically those big on-campus events are happening in the evening, 7 to 8 starting, and then 9 to 10 closing.
Yeah, great. I will add that on move-in day on August 22nd, we do kick off the week with convocation, which is your official welcome from the president and from other campus leaders that will take place starting at 4 p.m. that afternoon. So you have time to move in, get settled, and then you can join the entire incoming class over in the field house for that kickoff to Passages Week. Okay. Landon, you mentioned peer advisors and faculty advisors. When do I find out who those people are for me?
Sure. So we are doing all the placement, creating your schedule up until July 21st. So on the 21st, you'll be able to go onto your My Puget Sound account and click on your advising info. That will give you your faculty advisor, your schedule, all of that information. Our peer advisors are hired, but we train them right before passages. So you won't see those names until passages start, and then you'll meet with your peer advisors actually first on Saturday and have sort of a college kickstart. Here's how we're going to work together. Here are recommendations from generally juniors and seniors on ways to be successful as a student here. And then on Sunday, you'll meet with your faculty advisor, and that's when you'll start reviewing schedules, talking about big picture requirements, curricular, things like that. And then on Monday, you'll sort of fine tune any schedule changes that you'd like to do in the midst of all this other stuff that's going on.
Thank you. Okay, Dawn, we got the point. We have to leave Saturday as parents. When's our first official opportunity to come back and see what our student has been up to?
So the first official activity that I would put on your calendars is going to be the weekend of October 10th through the 12th, I believe is the Friday through the Sunday. That's our homecoming and family weekend on campus, and that is a really big tradition on campus that continues to gain steam and a lot of attention because the centerpiece of the weekend is a football game against, this year it's going to be against our crosstown rival in Pacific Lutheran University. But that's not the only thing that's happening on campus that weekend. And so it's an opportunity for parents and families to come back to campus, reunite with their student. They've been here for a month, they've kind of settled in, they've made lots of friends, and they're anxious to show the campus off and kind of share the experience with them. So we encourage you to put that on your calendars. Again, we'll make sure that you're aware of it, but October 10th through the 12th is what I would consider to be the first official time that we would really encourage parents and families to come back to campus. We'd love to see you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Esty and George, what was your favorite part, or what do you think is the best part of Passages?
That's hard. I I definitely think one thing has just been seeing people coming back to Passages. When I was a freshman, one of my leaders, I just had such a great bond with her, and that developed into me becoming a leader last year, and now I'm gonna technically be her boss, which is kind of weird. But I think it just shows that experience that people want to come back to this program, and that it shows a lasting impact because I've encouraged my own Passages to participate in being Passages leaders. So yeah, that's definitely one part.
Yeah, I've had a similar pipeline to SD and Passagee to Passage Leader to now Passage Cord. But even on a more personal note, I was the only person from my high school to come here in my graduating class. So I didn't know anybody coming here. And Passages was that first experience and that first opportunity that I had to create friends. And some of my closest friendships and relationships on campus are from Passages. And so I just, the best thing about it is the fact that it is such a wonderful, beautiful opportunity to create those friendships, oftentimes centered around your immersive experiences. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So we have a general question that's come in, and I will let whomever feels like they would like to respond go for it. And probably the two students, but if anyone wants to jump in, feel free. The general question about being able to balance studies, athletics, and is there flexibility for doing both? Can you work as well? How do you balance all of that? What's that like?
Yeah, so along with being a Passages Guide, I'm also a tour guide, so I get this question a lot. And the way that I balance it is I take academics in my classes as their first priority, and oftentimes I have friends in those classes, so like we're doing homework together, and it's also like kind of a social time, and we're getting stuff done, trust me, but it's a good time. But the academics comes to the forefront. I was also a student athlete my first semester here, and so that was very much a balancing act, but of course, you're here to be a student, and so everything surrounding that, academics, athletics, and even work study opportunities here on campus, they're all kind of centered around you're a student first. Like if you have a big test or a big paper, that all comes first, everything else kind of falls in hand. Because if you're not doing well academically speaking, then nothing else is gonna feel very good anyways. So there's that balance for sure.
Can I add on a little bit? Okay. I agree with George. I also was an athlete the first semester too. It definitely can be hard to balance, but I would say the biggest thing for me is go to your professors during office hours. They are really helpful and they're there for you. And please utilize them because I don't like when people don't and they're so sweet and they just want to help, and I think that's really valuable. Also, going to the CWL, which is the Center for Writing and Learning, can also help you learn to balance everything that's going on, and same with peer advisors. But I definitely think, though, yes, it's important being a student and being an academic learner, but also participating in sports, yes, and also clubs. It really helps, I think, your mental health and your social well-being, and also will help you as a student.
Yeah, great. Anyone want to add anything to that?
Old man out here. So the biggest difference that is obvious, but I don't think a lot of us give any weight to it, is you're only going to be in class 10 or 12 hours a week. So it's drastically different than the last 12 years of education. So you really have to figure out how you're going to manage your time. So a third of our students are student athletes. All of our students are engaged in activities, clubs. We have a lot of students who work on campus. So when you look at your schedule on Monday, July 21st, you're going to see, hey, I've got 4 classes that meet 3 times a week for 50 minutes. I've got so much time, I can do whatever I want, which is a true statement, but figuring out how to have study groups, connect with friends, connect to people in your classes in a weird way sometimes, having a study group where you're in different classes and you're sort of holding each other accountable to be there and to do that work, that's a huge part of your first semester. So figuring out how to balance these things and talking to your faculty, both your advisor and the instructors who are teaching the classes, your peer advisor, student success coach, your supervisor on campus. Back to my earlier comment, you get to share what you want to share, but if you're not sharing things, we don't know all that you need help with. So if, as George said, you've got a huge exam coming up and you're in your room studying all the time, good, great. But if you don't want to go into your work at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, tell your supervisor, and I would be willing to bet they'll say, great, you need to do that study work, and then we'll shift your schedule for later in the week. So this is definitely a conversation we want you to have with all sorts of people on campus.
Skylar, can I add one thing to that too? So George said something that kind of triggered a thought that, again, as you're getting the sense, academics are very important here, but I think that we would all agree that what you do outside of school is also equally important, and that's really going to make or break the experience that you have as a student on campus. So my challenge to you, if you want to take it as a challenge, would be to also build in some time that you're going to push yourself to try something new. So as an example, I'll plug one of our programs. We, through the Tacoma Regional Alumni Club, we host several coffees with alumni on Saturday mornings generally. This is an opportunity for you, even in your first year, to be able to come into the room that we're sitting in at this very moment and be able to sit down with an alum and talk with them about what they did when they were a student here. How did they balance all of their time as a student? What did they get involved with? And that can be a scary thing sometimes, to come into a room where you're talking to a bunch of people you don't know, but that's the point of it, is that that's going to be something that you'll do for the rest of your life, and it gives you a very safe space to do it. The other one that I'll point out is there's another event on campus called Dinner with Strangers every spring. It's a huge event on campus. Almost, I would put it up against RDG in some respects. But again, it's an opportunity to come together with a bunch of other students, and you have the opportunity to have dinner with alums who have donated their time to come back and share their experiences with you. And it's set up in such a way that you get to rotate throughout the evening and meet a bunch of different alums. So really challenging yourself to put yourself out there and do something that may make you a little uncomfortable at first, but at the end of the day, whatever that is for you, it's really going to make your experience just that much better in the classroom, because you'll have the chance to really experience what the university is offering to you.
Yeah, another plug for Dinner with Strangers. It's free dinner, and as a college student, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Great. That's a perfect segue. I was going to ask a different question. We'll come back to it, but I do want, there's a question about dining meal plans and how can you tell how much food you're going to be able to get with each meal plan. I'm going to get to a response there that I can share with you, but I would love to have the two of you sort of talk about how did you navigate your meal plans and any recommendations you might have for incoming students to make sure those meal plans last throughout the entire terms.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I've had the same meal plan, like the Plan C or like the standard one, like the pretty middle ground one, all semesters that I've been here, and it works really well. I just, as long as I have my locker card wherever I go, I just swipe for what I need to eat. And of course, that comes, it kind of like teaches you in a way how to budget for food in a kind of a counterintuitive way, which for one is really smart. For like in the subconscious of your brain, but also two, you know what is more expensive at the sub or at Divs or at any other campus cafes, and you know what's more expensive and what's cheaper, so you can like play around that. Like, oh, if you want to give yourself like a sweet little treat on the side, like, oh, like once a week you could manage that, but maybe like not every single day kind of thing. Like the lotuses at Divs are very expensive, but everything else, like you kind of figure it out along the way. Plus, as the semester goes on, I think it's through the chaplaincy that they have the Dining Dollar Bank, which is awesome. It's a very need-based resource where you apply to it and then you can get a certain number of dining dollars back to be like, hey, I need more dining dollars towards the end of the semester. Plus, it's super easy to add more dining dollars if you need to. And you can always track how much dining dollars you have in your Mind to Puget Sound as well.
You were gonna say everything I was gonna say. Yeah, so you can, when you come here, you're gonna get mobile, which helps with, you can do mobile orders, but you also get to see the remaining balance on your phone, which is really great because you definitely need to check that. But also another way that if, let's say, you have maybe $2 main dining dollars at the end of the semester, you can always go to the Logger store and buy food or snacks or whatever. But yeah, everything what George was saying was correct. I mean, you just have to be careful, but there's also just a bunch of ways that you can, look at. Work with the system, yeah.
Yeah, if you've chosen a meal plan because you've applied for housing, but you can change your meal plan, I believe, starting July 1st. So if you're hearing this and you're like, oh, I've wildly chosen the wrong meal plan, you can go back and change it. And we, on our Instagram Success Coaching, Puget Sound, we did some budgeting dining dollars posts this spring. So if you want to visualize what a day of food on the different meal plans. We have 5 different meal plans. What that looks like, you can go find those posts. We also have linked in our bio a meal plan calculator worksheet that's put out by Dining Services, and that could also help you decide what meal plan to get. You would say, in a week of eating on campus, I would want this thing for breakfast this many times. I would have coffee this many times. I would eat these things for dinner. And it will tell you at the end which meal plan you should buy. But like George said, you can add more dining dollars. So if you're right on the fence, if you really maybe want to splurge your first semester, the prices between the meal plans is not that big in real world dollars. It's about $200 between each plan. So you could go higher and then not have to worry as much about getting a coffee or a sweet treat or whatever. But if you're down to the end of the semester and you need more, it's super easy to add more as well. So you're always able to add more at the end of the semester.
Great, thank you. And my team behind the scenes did indicate that they are going to put a link in the chat to the Dining and Event Services webpage where you can get more information and find that calculator there as well. Okay, we also have some questions relating to residence life, and I think I probably am the best person to answer these, but if anyone has anything to add, feel free. So the first question is, when do you get your roommate assignment? And the answer to that is that you will get a letter next week. So that's coming very soon. And then a close follow-up to that question is, does everybody move in at the same time on move-in day? And the answer to that is no. You will receive an assigned move-in time based on what floor you live on. And that will also be in the letter that you will receive next week. So you're welcome to come to campus before that assigned time. You can check in for passages during that time. If you have a work-study award, you can meet with folks from Career and Employment Services and complete the paperwork that is required to be able to start your work-study assignment. There's things to be doing that day while you wait for your move-in time, but they do ask that you wait until that move-in time because otherwise the halls get fairly chaotic with everybody trying to get in at the same time. And so those assigned times really are to make it as easy as possible for you all. Anything to add around move-in experiences?
I would love to plug in the morning, if you're waiting for your move-in time, Grizz's Garage is something that you can go to. I would say plan to go to it first because that's when all the good stuff is still there. But students who moved out this spring have opted to give their dorm stuff to Grizz's Garage, things like mini fridges, microwaves, organizational things, lamps, carpets, like you name it, it's there. And we're selling it for rock bottom prices, like $5 for a fridge. So that's a great stop too if you want to go there too while you're waiting for your move-in time.
I'll also plug, this happened during when I moved in. It was the nicest thing in the world when the football players helped us carry our stuff. Oh my God, I didn't have to lift a finger. It was the best. I just point and shoot. It was great. But yeah, just plug to that. That was awesome. So yeah, shout out.
Greek Life is also a big participant in that program as well. So there will be help for you getting your stuff into your residence hall room.
Also, Passages leaders are here around campus while move-in is happening. If you don't know where your residence hall is or you need to find specific location, we are here for you. That is all our jobs. So yeah, I just wanted to plug that too.
And there will also be a general information table on the Wheelock Plaza that will be staffed by folks from Residence Life, from Passages, and from Parent Orientation, so that regardless of your question, there's somebody there who should be able to help answer it and point you in the right direction. Speaking again of Parent Orientation, Dawn, if my son is set to move in by August 12th for football, is there any sort of orientation for parents during that time frame?
There really isn't anything formal that is planned for parents of athletes. It's probably something it's time to look into that, but we just don't, we have not developed that yet. There is plenty of opportunity, though, if you have questions about anything or you would like to have some kind of a specific arrangement made that we could put you in touch with somebody that you have questions about. I'm certain that we can make those arrangements, so it's just a matter of contacting us and letting us know if you have particular thoughts. Did you have something you wanted to add?
I will. This doesn't necessarily get at this particular question, but there is a athlete parents reception on move-in day. But again, that doesn't necessarily help for the football team that does move in much earlier than the rest of our teams and the rest of our students.
My sense is, depending on the depth and level of your questions, the coaches are pretty fantastic folks, and they take very good care of the athletes and are very committed to making sure that the transition that certainly the fall athletes have to the university campus is as successful and positive as it would be for a non-athlete that's coming through the orientation program. So I think if you've not picked up anything else from this conversation, it's all about you asking us, what do you need? And any of us will do what we can to make this transition as successful as it can be for all of you.
Tori, is there a place where, if I have some of these other questions, is there a place that I should go to maybe find some of those answers potentially?
Yes. So I will say that, the Office of Admission, we're kind of working our way out of your lives at this point. But there are some amazing folks on our team kind of working on the back end that have put together a couple of really great resources. So there is oh my gosh, it is pugetsound.edu/welcome-new-loggers. And that's a whole little group of web pages that is really dedicated to just giving you lots and lots of information. So everything from explain to me how to complete my advising questionnaire to how is moving going to work. What are the school colors, if you have not gotten that yet? Just like the whole 9 yards. What are traditions? There's some great videos. So when you have questions, just sort of general questions, they're in the middle of the night and you just want to look, or if you just want to not ask somebody right away, that's a really great resource. The other thing that we have there's an enrollment FAQ page, and that's actually through the admission page. I believe it's pugetsound.edu/admissions/enrollment-FAQ. And I'm guessing these links are going in the chat too. But there are some really kind of specific Q&A type questions in there. And those are really focused a lot on things like billing and payments and some of those mechanics that might occur to you in the middle of the night as well. And that's a good resource.
Great, thank you. I have a question for Landon that's come in. Can you maybe share an example of a first semester schedule in terms of major, elective, and required courses?
Sure. So we are one of the very few U.S. institutions that has one unit equals one academic class. So most students are going to be in 4 classes, so carrying 4 academic units. Full-time is 3 units, so depending upon lots of answers to these questions, some students will be in 3. We also have activity, experiential learning courses that are quarter or half unit, music, ensembles, lessons, quarter and half unit. Lots of ways to get to 4 units. All incoming first-year students take a 100-level connections course, so that's Con 116, 109, 155. And that is a full unit course, but the way that we sort of envision it is half maybe a little less than half of the content is adjustment to college, resources on campus. That could be where your advising component is delivered. So that's going to be for all of you, all brand new first time in college students. Your other 2 or 3 classes could take a variety of different looks. If you're interested in a particular major and you chose a lot of history courses, then chances are in this advising questionnaire, you're going to be in a history course. That not only can work for a history major, but it can also fulfill our humanistic divisional requirement. And as a historian, if you change, which you shouldn't do, from your history major to something else, then it ends up being an elective. So we generally like to have students in that connections course, which you will all be in, and then the other 2 or 3 courses can be to explore a major. It can be, hey, I never had anthropology in my high school. What is it? My older brother, sister, friend, whoever said it was interesting. So there's lots of exploration that can go on. And then within that advising component of passages, you can start having these conversations with your advisors of, hey, I'm in these courses, I'm not interested in this one, let me swap it out. What are you thinking for major or minor? So there's almost, again, too many variables.
If I can follow up, there's 2 more follow-up questions for Landon right away, please. Yeah. First of all, who do I talk to about changing my major, and what is an advising class?
Right. So officially, all students, except those admitted to business leadership program, are undeclared. So you can have whatever major you want in your head. Cool. It's not official. None of our majors outside of that business leadership program are competitive entry. Some other schools have where you're admitted generically to the A&S college and then you apply for nursing or engineering or history or whatever. So once you are here, you are undeclared, and then you can pursue any major that you would like to pursue. Once you do declare a major, which we allow you to do starting in the spring semester, you can choose a new faculty advisor in that discipline. About half of the students have a declared major by the end of their first year, and we want all of them to have a declared major by the end of their second year. The advising class is totally confusing. I get it. So an advising class isn't one particular thing. So for example, all of you will be in a connections course. That is the shared single course that all new students take. But the advising class just happens to be a way that we connect you with your advisor. So it could be a connections course, it could be chemistry, biology, history, anthropology, Spanish. There sort of isn't a specific, these courses are advising. It's rather that's the instructor of that course is going to serve as your advisor. It eventually makes sense. George will make more sense.
Yeah, I was just going to give like a personal example of like what my freshman fall schedule was. I took my, now what they're called Connections 100 level courses. Back then they were called SSI's acronym for whatever. But my freshman seminar was called Northwest Urbanism, and that professor also happened to be my academic advisor until I declared. So that was kind of the arrangement. Other people are other arrangements. I also took French, like intermediate French 201, intro to political theory, and like intro to comp sci. And if you ask me now, like what I'm studying now, which is completely different. But like they mix and match with it, and I'm glad that I had the first semester freshman schedule that I did. I enjoyed all those classes, and yeah, so there you go.
Great, thank you. It looks like we're getting quite a few questions about mental health resources, and while I think there's a variety of responses that we could provide, I will also share that at our panel at the end of July, we will have members from our counseling, health, and wellness services on the panel who will be better equipped to directly respond to those questions. But we do have a very proactive counseling, health, and wellness services center here on campus, both that works to support your physical health as well as your mental health. Through that center, There's various therapy, individual therapy and group sessions that you can access. We also have a program called You Will, which is a remote therapy session that you can use as a Puget Sound student. We have already paid for that for you, so if you are feeling like you just need a bit of a pick-me-up, or if there is a need that you really want to talk through with somebody, after hours in particular, that's a really great resource as well. And so we will have somebody from, we call it CHAWS, Counseling, Health, and Wellness Services, at our next panel. But does anybody want to add to any of those things before we move to the next question?
I mean, I can talk a little bit. I mean, as a student, definitely mental health, of course, is important, and I understand the urgency of wanting to know. I would definitely say yes, CHAWS is a wonderful example. I would also say you do have, once again, during Passages Week, you have your Passages leaders and Passages coordinators there if you need any type of help. We try our best to help with situations, but also we understand that that's not always in our control. But we also have, once again, your RA is there for you, and even your peer academic advisors. Or your student success coaches are there for you, which is really great. Those are just some of the many examples that we have for people with just, mental health questions.
Okay. I don't want to belittle that question. I do just want to encourage you that we know that is a very pertinent concern as you are getting ready to take this big step and come to college. We will just be digging into those questions significantly at the next panel as well. If in the meantime, though, you would like to have those questions addressed, you're welcome to reach out directly to me. My email is sbasboyihl@pugetsound.edu, and I can make sure that your question gets connected to folks in our Counseling, Health, and Wellness Services Center who will be better equipped to respond to your specific question and needs. Okay, we are coming close to the end of our time here this evening, but we have a couple more questions that I think we have time to address. Pros and cons of having a car on campus. I'm going to pitch this first to students, and then anyone else who'd like to jump in.
So I'm originally from Chicago. I don't have a car on campus, and I don't really plan on having a car on campus. I don't really have an issue with that either. In terms of like geographic proximity to other places in Tacoma, Proctor District is 10 minutes north, walking distance that is, and that has a Safeway and other grocery stores and little boutiques and restaurants, so there's places to do and things to do up there. There's also 6th Street, which has fast food and other like thrift stores and record stores and other fun spots to hang out. So both areas are very geographically close to us, plus there's a bus network that's awesome. Sound Transit in Washington continues to expand their public transit, and it's super easy to access. So I don't have a car, and I don't have an issue with a car, is, I guess, the moral of the story.
I'm also probably not a good person to ask, but I also don't have a car on campus. But I would say that while during Passages, we will be using public transportation, which is a way to get you to know just how it works over here and stuff. I would say, though, like, I think it's completely okay to bring a car. A lot of my friends have cars, and definitely I think it's so fun when I get some, like, hey, you want to go, like, to, like, Safeway or something? And I think that's great. But yeah, I think that if you have a car and you want to bring it, I think that's so awesome and so cool, and I think, yeah, why not?
Parking is also currently free on campus, and you will be able to, it does require a permit, so you would be able to go into your My Puget Sound and register your car so that you get a parking permit so that you're able to park on campus, but parking is currently free for students. Tori, we have a question about what is the size of the incoming class?
Oh, that is a great question that I should have right off the top of my head. It is just a little shy of 400. So,
great. Landon, when and where should we choose our remaining classes, and will that be done during our advising meeting this summer?
So we are going to put you in 4 classes. So July 21st, you'll log in to your My Puget Sound, and you'll see 4 classes. Caveat, some of you may see 3, depending upon course offerings and what you want to do. Then there are no changes. This is the frustrating part. I apologize. just the reality of how we need to do the work. There are no changes to your schedule from July 21st until you meet with your advisor that first Sunday and Monday of Passages Week. You don't care why we do it. That's the way we do it. So then on that Sunday and Monday, you will meet both as a group, so all of your peers who are being advised by that faculty member and the peer advisor, you'll have a group session, then you'll meet individually with peer and faculty advisor. And if at that point you decide, hey, I want to change the time of this class, I'm in the 2 p.m. class and I'm a student athlete, I'd prefer to be in the 10 a.m. section. Great, you can swap those out. Things of, hey, I really thought I wanted to do political theory and now I don't. Great, you can make that change. And then as every semester, the first week of the semester, once classes begin, students are also able to add drop. So if you get in a class and you get the syllabus, which is sort of the outline of the course and the expectations and the assignments, and you say, hey, this is a bad mix for me, too many labs or too much quantitative stuff or too much reading, you can say, hey, I'm going to go into a different class, and then talking to the individual instructor of the class about adding and then dropping out of the other one. So you've got the first 2 weeks to make sort of fine-tuning anything that you would do even at Passages.
Awesome, thank you so much. So we are at time this evening. I will plug that we do have our second panel later this summer, and you will receive more information about how to register for that panel, date, time, location, well, location obviously virtual, but date and time for that panel will be forthcoming the same way you heard about this panel this evening. If you have questions specifically about Passages, you can reach any of the Passages planning team simply by emailing passages@pugetsound.edu. I would also encourage you to follow our Instagram account, and I'll let Esty plug that.
Which is Puget Sound Passages. We'll have informational stuff, of course, but we also have fun little silly videos and skits we've been working on. Yeah, just to get to know our faces, and I don't know, anything else, George?
And just get hyped for the summer. We're really excited to meet you all in August. Yeah, just another plug, Puget Sound Passages. Whoop.
Awesome, thank you. So like I said, thank you again for joining us this evening. We did make note of the questions that you submitted, and you will be able to find access to responses to those questions through, we'll be putting together a Q&A, or an FAQ, excuse me, to supplement some of what the admissions team has already done based on the questions you submitted today. If you submitted questions about mental health resources, we will try to capture those and make sure that those get addressed in the next panel as well. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you either at the next panel or in August.
Thank you. Bye.